Y'all need to do better background checks on these foster parents. This review will include every single spoiler imaginable, just so you know. Bring Her Back, now playing in theaters, follows Andy and his foster sister Piper. Piper is mostly blind. She can only see certain shapes and bright lights, so needless to say, she needs assistance throughout her day-to-day. I absolutely love she and Andy's dynamic. They love and trust each other and even have their own safe word, which is grapefruit. Andy takes good care of her. Now, everything changes when their foster father mysteriously passes away in the shower. Now, after learning what I learned about their foster dad, he's exactly where he needs to be, but I'll be back to whack his ass later, okay? Andy and Piper are now left without foster parents and are sent to CPS to a woman named Wendy. Now, Wendy, I'm gonna drag you a little later too because you need to do better. Okay, I'm gonna get you later, but for now, Wendy was gonna split Andy and Piper up, but they weren't having that shit. Andy's gonna be 18 in 3 months and asked Wendy to ask Piper's new caregiver if he could keep them together just until he's 18, where he'll then be able to apply for custody of Piper, which really just warms my heart. Ah, so precious. So we see that it works, where they'll both be going to the same foster home. They'll pull up to their new home to meet their new, very weird foster mother, Laura. Now, Laura, I'm gonna be mopping the floor with your 80s haircut this entire review because you are whack. Andy and Piper arrive and it's clear that Laura is only interested in Piper. Her weird ass does taxidermy, which, no shade, but if you out here stuffing dead animals to look like they're still alive, you probably shouldn't be a foster parent. It's weird and creepy. Laura gave Andy a small, unkept, dusty-ass room. She also has another foster child, Oliver, that was not mentioned by Wendy or anyone else. Now, Oliver was a weirdo and Andy agreed. He texted that to his friend and Laura's creepy ass was offended by it, but bitch, I'm offended that you went through my phone. She knows that Andy eventually wants custody of Piper, and that is dangerous, cause this hoe is a monster. Okay, Laura also expressed that she had a daughter, Kathy, who was also blind, who had passed. And when I heard this, I knew that this hoe was trouble. I clocked it from the beginning. We end up seeing her going to the shed with Oliver in the middle of the night. We see her with a VCR where she watches these creepy ass rituals. I mean, the woman ain't right. So now it's time to go to Andy and Piper's foster dad's funeral. Andy refused to look at the body despite Piper using their word grapefruit, which implied to cut the bullshit. Andy lied and said that he looked at the body, saying that their foster father looked good. Laura called him out, saying that he didn't look at the body, and Piper hears this, which is the start of her possible distrust in Andy. Now, Laura's weird ass takes them back inside and forces Andy to kiss this dead man's body, and Laura, you will pay for your raggedy, dusty sins. You are creepy, weird, manipulative, nasty, vile, and I'ma stop right there for now. Her weird ass then kisses their foster dad's body on the lips. Again, you are raggedy and nasty. Okay, Laura ain't shit. She allows both Andy and Piper to get shit-faced drunk. It's at this point where she gets Andy to open up about his foster dad. Andy was abused by him. He would hit Andy so hard that he'd black out, and this is why this man is exactly where he belongs, 6 feet under. Their foster dad hid his behavior from Piper, and so she had no idea he was a fucking monster. Girl, from here, shit gets weirder as we see that Andy was pissing himself when he went to bed, but it was actually Laura's nasty ass pouring her own piss onto him, manipulating him, making him think it was his, adding drugs to his water, deleting photos and videos videos of her weird ass behavior from his phone. She was the ultimate manipulator and had Piper brainwashed, thinking that Andy was losing his shit. So this whole time, we hadn't heard Oliver's weird ass say anything. The kid does not speak at all. Laura takes Piper shopping and tells Andy not to let Oliver out of the room. Andy lets him out as he wants to feed him. He wants Oliver to communicate, so gives him a pen and a pad, to which Oliver writes the word bird on it. Andy cuts him some fruit and hands Oliver the knife with the fruit at the end of it, but Oliver ends up biting into the knife, which causes a fucking mess. Andy tries to take him to the hospital in his car, but as soon as they cross Laura's ritual border surrounding the house, Oliver has a fucking exorcism and actually begins speaking like a normal child. But Laura's evil ass gets back and rushes him inside, performs another ritual, and has Oliver back to his old weird ass ways. Andy later sees his dead foster dad while he's showering and slips and hits his head. He wakes up in the hospital to see Laura's raggedy ass, where she tries to be slick and confess that she killed their foster dad. And it makes sense, bitch, because the woman has access to the system and can go through it to see whose body she could use to be a host for her dead daughter Kathy's body that she's keeping on ice. Girl, it just goes downhill from here. Laura smacks the shit out of Piper in her sleep and blames Andy. Andy goes back to Wendy to express how much of a lunatic Laura is. He finds a picture of a missing child named Connor, and it's actually Oliver, meaning Laura kidnapped him. Of course, Wendy doesn't listen, even though this is all her fault, but has to follow protocol, so she has to go back to check out the house to make sure everything is okay. She sees some weird shit with Laura. Andy breaks into her shed to find Oliver and Kathy's dead body. Wendy and Andy tries to get the fuck out of there, but Laura takes Wendy out first, and then sadly she unalives Andy, which really broke my fucking heart, as that was Piper's ride or die. Laura brings Piper home. Piper feels Oliver and asks what the fuck is wrong with him. She locks herself in a room where she finds Andy's body. She's able to identify him by feeling his braces. Laura tells Piper that she's gonna drown her in the pool for the sake of bringing Kathy back to life. Oliver is a full-on demon at this point and needs to be there for the ritual. Piper ends up escaping, as well as Oliver, who ran outside of the ritual border again, and they're both rescued, and it appeared that 5-0 locked Laura's ass up. Laura, you and your raggedy wig can rot in prison. You are sick and demented. You are a liar, a manipulator, a weirdo, a bad witch. Okay, you could never be Alphaba, and I'm glad they locked your motherfucking ass up. Now, listen, I really enjoyed this movie. I did. I thought it was great. I thought it was a lot of blood. You know, the carnage was real, but I thought it was well done. It was scary. I didn't know what was going to happen next, and I highly recommend it. If you saw it, let's talk about it in the comments.